pretty good, but you know, they would look better, a little bit more metal, needs to be lubed up. This bike needs to be lubed up a little more, and then I noticed that my seat it needs to be painted, so I've got the post and a lot of the seat bracket. So I basically took off the seat and stuff, and I'm drying the stuff, and I'm going to spray paint it black, gloss black. It's going to look a lot better. And also I could just adjust the seat. It wasn't that comfortable. This bike has a top tube and a down tube basically. It needs to be a little bit lower for me. Sometimes, when I'm out there, I look for some, something for that, like a new bolt or something. But yeah, I've got the hard, having brakes is a real good system to have. Yeah, definitely need to get like a cloth and just, you know, get it a little bit wet, and then I could actually clean this up a little bit. Kickstand is really nice to have. I know people don't like, or don't want to deal with kickstands, but it just helps. When you need to stop and get off the bike to figure something out, um, you know, it'll still stand up. So there are a few things. Hopefully you guys could take a look at this bike. Eventually, like with these older bikes and gear systems, it's just really hard to say what I would do. This is kind of missing a cover for it. So maybe, I'll be on the lookout with my other parts and stuff, but these things do last as long as you take your time. And you know even on that kid's bike, these necks are really nice, these caps that go forward and things like that, really nice to have. So yeah, there's a look at the bike seat. So here's some of the hardware that's drying. I kind of washed it like an hour or two ago, and now it's just drying out. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys on the next Upside DIY. Yeah, everything. I'm not sure if I mentioned, but these tires are exactly the same for the bike that I just showed you guys. So these are kind of for also the gray fender. So that bike is also like an air tool, but this is actually a lock. I just locked the front tire or the rear tire to a pole and things, and it's a really strong lock. Or I could just lock it while it's on the kickstand. It's no big deal. And this chain is pretty heavy duty. I'm not even sure if I got it cut at the store, but I don't think I grinded it down. I think it's the same size and stuff, and it was just a decent length. So this lock kind of could get ready to ride. But I did fill these up to around 60 psi. The highest rating was 85 psi. So with that, so with the special air air gauge. You know, it's got the nice. This cost me around $15. So it's a real good tool to have. Some professional ones might go up to $80 and things like that. But you know, these $15, $20 ones work pretty good. You know, I had an air compressor around, which is, you know, some people might use a hand pump or a foot pump and things. And I could probably tape up this box, look better, a little bit more metal. Needs to be lubed up. This bike needs to be lubed up a little more. And then I noticed that my seat, it needs to be painted. So I've got on that kid's bike, these necks are really nice. These caps that go forward and things like that, really nice to have. So yeah, there's a look at the bike seat. My tire pressure gauge, I'm gonna do a last, but I'm gonna just keep it outside. It's you know, on hand, and I'm gonna actually probably try to take it apart. It's still really heavy. Sometimes the rim, with the rim being steel or something, or maybe the shock is making it heavy. I'm not 100% sure, but there's a kickstand and a lot of small and it's, I laid down the board kind of like that. So and it's sitting on the other small bike. The inflated the tires on this bike, on the Schwinn. I actually brought in a complete bike so that I could ride this sun area right here. There used to be a lot of a few pieces of wood and etc. 45 psi, around 50. You know, I didn't want to really, you know, speed isn't caught on anything. You could try to oil it and things like that. And then I also was able to PSI, the highest rating was 85 PSI. So with that, so with the special air gauge, you know, it's got the nice this cost me around $15. So it's a real good tool to have. Chain, and it's a little bit larger and stuff. And I do have a couple of chains outdoor, chaining ladders, chaining bicycles. So I'm finishing up this rim. So I'm not going to use those, but that one right there is kind of like the oddball. So I'm picking out the last piece. I already marked down. It's going to be 15 and a half tall. So I got, you know, the 15 and a half all measured out. And for some reason, yeah, I already got the 18 and a half. This is 18 and a half. This is the main 18 and a half. So I measured that, marked that. So I have 4 of those. So it's going to be the long. And then it's going to be, you know, I've got the dimensions basically written down. And this last piece right here should be 9 and a half. You know, when I cut it, it's not 9 and a half right now, but that's how I kind of picked out which piece I should use instead of picking any other one. I'm keeping things matched up and paired up. And you see this was a little over, so I'll only need 9 and a half of that. So all I have to do is hopefully get the screw, make a mark, and I try to make a little bit well. Just try to make it because it's not going to. And then, so I made a little screw mark or pinhole, and then I just use a wooden piece. On the notes, I just, redid the measurements on a knife or something. So, on the notes, I just, redid the measurements. I made them a quarter inch, and then I just circle. I was thinking I had to get two of these. A lot of these other random notes were actually really confusing. So I did front wheel, rear wheel, and double checked before I do these. Paint can in this area is actually in my kitchen. You can kind of see all the dishwashing detergent bottles that I'm cleaning up, and yeah, I started painting pretty much one side. This was kind of and it actually fell on me. I actually had it on a different pile. It fell, and then I put it on this pile. It's on top of a pizza box or something flat, and then basically, just painted. Just keep it a lot more waterproof. This is actually a pretty good hiking backpack because I'm getting another. This is going to be on top, so there's going to be one backpack, and then I'm going to, redo these harnesses, and it's going to connect to the top or maybe the bottom. I'm thinking the top, kind of like, a take apart type of a backpack. So basically, the other side isn't painted. The other side isn't painted and things. I kind of missed a spot there. There are a few spots, but once everything, dries up the first time, I try to go over it a little bit more. And yeah, I kind of just basically look for so there are a lot of missed spots, but it kind of looks like suede right now, leather suede. But it's weatherproofing paint on so it's like pleather. So I'm gonna show you. I'm touching up and painting a few items, but here's one that I got started on, and I need to kind of find the spots where I left off and things like that. But just using any extra paint, weatherproofing paint. I guess I could make start, and then the second thing that I need, and even like where I thought it was pretty thin, so I filled it up with the air compressor. And then I got my special tool right here for the valve, make sure it's on tight, and some other extra special tools for perhaps removing the tires, and then turning on the air compressor, plugging it in, and have this type of nozzle to fill up air. So fill up the air, and if the air doesn't hold, then there's a hole in there. It needs to be painted, so I've got the post and a lot of the seat bracket. So I basically took off the seat and stuff, and I'm drying the stuff, and I'm going to spray paint it black, gloss black. It's going to look a lot better. And also I could just adjust the seat. It wasn't that comfortable. This bike has a top tube and a down tube, basically. It needs to be a little bit lower for me. Sometimes, when I'm out there, I can't really adjust it with the hardware that I have, but maybe I could look for something for that, like a new bolt or something. But yeah, I've got the hardware taken off, and I'm gonna paint the seat basically. And this right here is just the kind of like the good pieces, so I could actually put this 18.5 long and 15.5 kind of like together like that, just to not mix them up. And I can kind of put them right in the back right here.